Hello HEMA friends and welcome to this new episode of the Tactical Swordsman. Today I am going to discuss the bind, more in the specific the concept of feeling through the bind. If you don't know, the tactical stimulus information process from hand to brain and back takes from 20 to 30% lesser time than the visual one. This means that by feeling instead of seeing, a fencer can react faster, and this has been brought forward many times in history and nowadays as a very important advantage to exploit. But is this really the case? Well, generally speaking it is, but the problem is that it may happen on both directions, from both the opponents, and this per se nullifies the potential advantage with this or that opponent, and sometimes turn the advantage into a disadvantage while facing someone more expert at playing that kind of game or someone who can manipulate a common reaction pattern in a tricky way. In these clips that you are watching right now, for example, I am using a couple of tricks to fool my opponents. In the first two, I touch the blade of my opponent and I slide upward by pressing slightly into the bind. This, through the bind, which remember is an information which gets processed by your brain before the visual one because it's faster, may be sensed as a threat from above, so the instinctive reaction to it is to protect the head, while instead the target was the arm from the very beginning. In the second example I do something similar by beating the opponent's sword aside. A common reaction to beatings on the blade is to close the line that the action on the blade is opening. So, taking advantage of this may be a good idea. I beat the opponent's blade on the inside, then I cut on the outside during the time in which my opponent is closing the inside one. The bind diminishes the reaction time, which is good, but at the same time it tends to make people feel safer, sometimes even at closer distances than normal. And all of these sensations and feelings can be exploited with different actions. Remember, this doesn't make the bind lesser useful. Fencing in the bind or out of the bind are simply neutral conditions. All comes down to how a fencer uses these conditions against an opponent, when and how. Very good people, we are at the end of this brief video. Remember that if you want to support this channel and watch more of my contents, you can join my Patreon community. Links in the description. Thanks for watching people and, as always, see you next time.